Hey everyone, my name is Sarah Johnson. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to make cupcakes. I brought my cupcakes to a party and they were a hit. Alright everybody, so now we're going to get started mixing the butter and the sugar. So I have butter here that I've softened in the microwave. So I'll get each one in there. It's really easy to soften the microwave. It just takes about 10 seconds. I did have it out for about an hour. And that one will go in. And I have 2 cups of sugar, and I'm going to put that in. And we're going to get this going. It's going to beat for probably 5 minutes. So I'm going to turn it on and get it going slowly. And then as it clumps up a little bit, I'll get it going faster and faster. And then what I'll do is get it on beat speed, so that'll be about like 6 or 8. So now the butter and sugar has been creaming for a while. I'm going to slow it down to about 2, and I'm going to add the eggs one at a time. And then I'm going to get it going faster and faster until it's fully incorporated. Then I'll slow it down, add another egg, and we'll see how it gets incorporated. Now I'll add the last egg. I always love when I get all eggs in at different times, because sometimes I add 2 at a time because they follow each other. But this time they all went in one at a time. So now what I'm going to do is scrape down the bowl, and then I'm going to add the vanilla. And we're going to be adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla to our batter. That's going to give it a really nice vanilla flavor. So that looks really good. So I'll just get that there, and we'll get the vanilla in. For some reason, the price of vanilla has gone up considerably. This little bottle was $9. So I'm going to start buying it in bulk. And there's our 2 teaspoons. We're going to add 2 cups of flour to our dried ingredients, along with 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and a pinch of salt. So I've already got my 2 cups of flour in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. And this is the kind that I like. It doesn't clump in the can. So we got our 1 teaspoon. Now I'll do a 1/2. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. Or, I'm sorry, a pinch of salt. And I'm just going to use a tiny bit, put it in my hand, kind of measure it a little bit. And I pour too much in, so I just do that. Get rid of the rest. We don't want too much salt in there. So we're just going to mix this up really quickly. Our dry ingredients. The oven's heating up to about 350 degrees, and I'm going to bake the cupcakes for 20 to 25 minutes. I'll use my tester to make sure they're done. I don't want to over bake them because that'll tend to dry out the cupcakes. There's nothing worse than a dry cupcake. You need lots of milk when you eat a dry cupcake. So let's get started. So I'm going to start it on a really slow speed. And we start and end with the flour. So I'm going to do almost a cup of flour in there, and I'll get it slowly going. And once all the dry ingredients are incorporated, I'm going to add about a 1/2 cup of the buttermilk. So I'll slowly add the buttermilk. I would always recommend buttermilk for cakes. It gives it a good flavor. Milk can be a substitute if you can't find buttermilk anywhere. You can use that. So we've got our 1/2 cup in. So here, let me show you what I do. I take about a spoonful and I put it into the cup, and basically I'm filling it up to about 3/4 of the way. So we'll do another one. Let me see if I can move this so that we can see with the other camera. So now it's time to frost the cupcakes. I've got the butter, the milk, the cocoa, the confectioner sugar, and we're going to use vanilla also. As a matter of fact, I better get it off the other counter. So then we're going to pipe it out of a bag with a decorative tip, and I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing we want to do is get our cocoa. I have 2 bags of it because one has a little bit left, so we want to get a cup of cocoa in the bowl. So I'll measure that out. Looks like we have about a cup. It's a little bit more just to even it out. So here's our cocoa. And now I need 3.5 cups of powdered sugar. So I approximate this because I'm going to make a mess. I'm going to probably have to add a little more as I go. What we're gonna do is get our butter. And this butter is very soft. I've let it sit out. We're gonna dump that in. Then we're gonna take, so we're using a stick and a half of butter. We'll get this one in. So we're gonna get the milk, pour that in. And then we're gonna get 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So drop that in. And you're gonna be amazed at how fast this mixes up. It's amazing how fast it is to make frosting. We're gonna frost the cupcakes now. I have this plastic pastry bag and I have a tip, and this is the tip I'm gonna use so that I get a nice design when I push out the frosting from the bag. So the first thing we have to do is gather everything in the bowl so we have a nice pile of frosting. I'm gonna fold over the sides like this and then kind of make it wide so that I have a nice clean outer part of the bag, something to grab onto. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting frosting into the bag. We're probably gonna use a good bit of this, so I'm just gonna keep filling it up. And as I do that, I'll kind of like go like this, kind of force any air bubbles down, and you can see some of it coming out. So, and that's okay. So we'll get a little more in there. Now what I do is I take my bag and I fold it back up and I start to twist it, and that's pushing air out like this. So if I squeeze a little bit out, it's all good. I'm gonna get some of the cupcakes. So if we go like this, I just force it down, and I force by squeezing gently the frosting out of the bag. And all I'm doing is holding the pastry bag over the cupcake, and I'm just squeezing it out, leaving it in place, and making a little decoration, which kind of looks like a flower. I'm just gonna keep doing that all over. The trick is to start in the exact center of the cupcake. You don't have to get out a ruler, you can do it all by eye. And I'll just do that one. And as you go, it's amazing how fast this is.